Now joining us in the studio here is an information systems analyst, Dr. Adebowale Owoseni, as well as cyber security professional Olatunji Igbalajobi. It's nice to have you both in the studio.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Good
morning.
morning.
All right. Let me start with you, Dr. Owoseni. The issue of cybercrime seems to be maybe the knowledge is increasing or maybe the acts. Can you relate to us? Because we get to hear about this thing more and more, that even the president had to make reference to it, in his broadcast. Are we having more of cybercrime issues, or we're only hearing more of it?
Okay, I think we're having more of cybercrime issues, and this stems from the fact that the usage of internet and mobile application is increasing. So it's just expected that the crime is going to increase. But again, I think the knowledge that is required to curb this crime is not even out there. So people are not aware how to secure information, which is the primary source that cyber criminals latch on to cause this havoc.
Now, when we talk about cybercrime in this part of the world, what we know constitutes cybercrime is majorly Yahoo, and all of those. Like he said, a lot of people are not even, the knowledge of what cybercrime is not out there. What really constitutes cybercrime?
Quite a lot of factors contributed to cybercrime, especially in this part of the world. We've reiterated this before. Quite a lot of youths lay emphasis on lack of job opportunity, social factors, economic factors, and for the fact that most of Nigerian youths are quite enthusiastic about knowledge, internet, and they realize there's a quick win, using the internet to defraud, and that becomes a norm, that becomes a way of life, and the society has, we found ourselves today. So a lot of factors contributed to why we have, these cybercrime issues very more rampant in Nigeria.
The question I was asking is what constitutes cybercrime? Because is it just Yahoo that we know, or there's more to it?
There's more to it. There's more to it, especially in the area of the knowledge and the skills that the cyber criminals actually use. There are conventional methods, there are advanced methods, there are quite numbers of threats the attacker actually makes use of to ensure that they carry out their cybercrime acts successfully. There are phishing attacks, there are social engineering, there are identity theft, quite numbers of threat outside there.
All right. Dr. Owoseni, when it comes to issues of cybercrime, we often see that a lot of money, dollars, pounds, is involved. When the recent sting operation in the United States is one of those, and a lot of money is involved. Now, talk to us from the perspective of Nigerians being involved. Across the world, you see any black man that is involved in any cyber criminal, the first impression or perception is that he's a Nigerian. And then sometimes when you dig deep, you find out that a lot of Nigerians are involved in it. What is that thing about Nigeria being, or Nigerians going into cybercrime? What is really fueling that from your perspective?
Okay, you agree with me that it's a general perception that Nigerians are smart.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's not just perception.
Okay, so
we're actually, a fact.
Yes,
Nigerians
so we're actually smart. Okay, so and then this smartness can fling both ways. Yeah. So it could be positive, and then it could be negative. And then again, I also need to make us understand that when we refer to cybercrime, we have something we call ethical hacking, which on its own is not a crime. It's not a crime. Okay. So I think it's just the abuse of the smartness that we have that is leading to this.
The question there is, why Nigeria? Why is it so rampant among Nigerians?
Again, like my colleague said, I think it borders around high unemployment rate and other social vices. So our youths are seems not to be properly engaged.
All right. Dr. Adebowale Owoseni, thank you for your time on TVC Breakfast. And Olatunji Igbalajobi, thank you for your time on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you.
Well, joining us now is an information system analyst, Dr. Adebowale Owoseni, and cybersecurity professional, Olatunji Igbalajobi. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you. Nice to see you both. Yeah.
All right, I'll begin with you. As much as we talk about fighting cybercrime, can we really be fully secured online?
Truly speaking, there is no silver bullet to security. No one is immune. What we can do is to just ensure that we put adequate mitigating control in place to ensure that we protect ourselves, and that boils down to cybersecurity education and awareness. For instance, October is the National Cybersecurity Awareness globally. So I think the government also has to intensify effort in the area of cybersecurity education and awareness. Curbing cybercrime, I think, is a long war that we are going to fight, and the best approach is continuous sensitization. So for us as experts, we have lines of program for the month to engage general populace in cybersecurity awareness, as October is tagged the Global National Cybersecurity Awareness Month.
All right. Now, Debo, let me come to you on this. The point there is the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is also one of those who, beam searchlight in such areas of cybercrime and all of that. Talk to us, how challenging is it really to fight cyber criminals and cybercrime generally?
Okay, so EFCC is just an organ of the government that tend to fight crime. But I think the main challenge here is having the prerequisite to fight this kind of crime, because it's not the conventional crime where people carry gun or machete and then go meet someone at night or burgle into someone's house. Here it's more like a virtual kind of situation where people steal information and then goes around to use that information to get details, unauthorized details. So in fighting this, I think EFCC should be equipped to fight this kind of crime.
You don't think they're equipped enough?
I'm not sure. I think they could improve on that, really. I think so.
So invariably, because the government is looking at attacking this issue because its image is at stake, and if we say we want to really fight crime in Nigeria, what would it take?
Well,
do we have the structures in place in the first place?
Well, we tend to have a structure. I mean, the agencies that are meant to fight cybercrime are doing their job. But I think the best approach is a correctional program. Quite numbers of young, youths who are involved, who have been convicted, they are just putting behind the bar. There is no correctional program. Most of them need to have an understanding that their skills can be channeled for ethical purpose. Today, if Nigerian government decided to create jobs in cybersecurity, close to about 200,000 youths can be engaged, and they can be integrated into the ministry development and agencies. If you go to Nigerian ministry development and agencies today, you will find out that there are little or no cybersecurity experts who are even managing government information. So these are some of the areas where government can actually channel some of even these convicted cyber criminals, reorientate them, let them understand that their skills can be used for ethical purpose. Now we are not even talking about skills exports, because cybersecurity is a very big industry, and the global community are always looking for experts. I have quite numbers of guys who have leave Nigeria to go and consult outside the country. When that continues to trend, then who then secure our home space? So there should be a correct correctional program in place, and I think the Ministry of Interior is already talking about that, and I think they need to focus on that area.
All right. We've seen agencies in Russia, in India, China, and Ukraine, in Europe, and all of that are formidable when it comes to making their presence felt in that cyberspace. Very strong companies that even government, their own government, go to them to call them, for consultancy and for other consultation here and there. In Nigeria, it seems they have the capacity, but it seems everyone is fragmented, everyone is doing his own thing, but looking for government to come. What does it take to harmonize these people, structure them into some kind of a body, and then, having a formidable force and making Nigeria a force to reckon with when it comes to that space?
I think we need to first identify that we have a problem in this area.
Okay.
And then I think you've been able to identify that. And then we put everyone together give them the requested knowledge that they require to perform. That's all what we
But
need
they're
to do.
performing already, and we're seeing what knowledge do they really need, or is it just the patriotic orientation?
So I'm going to give an instance. Okay, let's take for example the kind of data that we acquire from different agencies. Telcos have the way they register people. National Population Agency, they do that. Different people capturing your fingerprints, doing all stuff. And then you wonder, why is it that we are doing these things all over again at different stages?
The banks have theirs.
Yeah, so we should be able to bring all this together. So there's exactly the same thing I'm looking at doing in fighting crime around cybersecurity.
All right.
All right. Sorry, we don't have the time anymore. We have to leave it here now. Thank you very much, Dr. Adebowale Owoseni. Thank you for coming. And Olatunji Igbalajobi, thank you so much for coming as well. Right.
Joining us now is an information system analyst, Dr. Adebowale Owoseni, and cybersecurity professional, Olatunji Igbalajobi. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on TVC Breakfast. I'll start with you, Dr. Owoseni. Looking at the collaboration that the government has with the Federal Bureau of Investigation from the US, how should we explore this to really, really fight cybercrime, not just for investigation, but also ensuring that it is brought to its barest minimum in country?
I think we need to exploit the situation where we convert these cyber criminals that were caught and then use the vices positively. So what I'm saying is, so instead of pushing them behind the bars, they need to tap the knowledge and then allow them to use this knowledge positively. We have what we call ethical hacking, which provides solutions into positive use of cyber situation. So we could convert that instead of pushing them behind the bars. And
But if they have committed crime, should they not serve the crime? Serve the time?
No. Okay. So I'm looking at this from the corrective point of view. Okay. So they need to serve the jail time.
And then when they come out,
at the end of the day, they need to.
That makes a little more sense. All right, let me come to you, Olatunji. Talk to us generally. How challenging is it to monitor systems from hacking and from all of this cyber issues?
Yeah.
Talk to us about cybersecurity.
In a way, it's quite challenging, because technology continues to emerge. And as much as technology continues to emerge, and people are not continuously aware of the latest threat, latest development, we will continue to play lip service to cybersecurity. It boils down to education and awareness. These days, a lot of people don't know that they needed to ensure that their system is up to date. When you talk about field security etiquette, quite a lot of people go with a single factor authentication on most of their information assets, even on their phones. And these days, hackers are already exploiting that area. So basically, people just need to understand that there are basic security measures that they need to understand, and they're putting them in place and practice them. That's why this National Cybersecurity Awareness is talking about honing it, secure it, and protect it. And CISAN, the Cybersecurity Exploration of Nigeria, will have a program for this month that will be rolled out across the country in ensuring that we engage general populace on the basic security best practice that they need to put in place.
All right, what are these basic security measures that one should be aware of? And in terms of awareness, how are you engaging schools, perhaps catching them young to pass this knowledge?
Okay, so the basic knowledge is understanding what information security is. What constitutes information security? What are the kind of information that I don't just put out there? What are the things I need to do as individual or as corporate organization to secure my information asset? Okay, so naturally you see people building fences around their houses in order to protect themselves. But are they actually doing that when we look at it from the cyber point of view? So we have firewalls or other things that we could do to ensure that the information we have our information asset as a corporate organization or as individual is protected.
Now, Olatunji, when it comes, people are more online on their phones. Talk to us from that perspective. What should an average person know about securing your access to the internet via your phone or any mobile device?
Yeah, the most important thing is to first of all understand what method are you using to connect to the internet. Are you connecting via a free Wi-Fi?
People like free things.
Yeah, there's no free lunch or free time when it comes to the internet. When it comes with free perspective on the internet, you have to be very sensitive about that.
And cautious.
You have to be very conscious.
Really?
Yeah, that's the truth.
Okay.
Why?
Because when it comes with free, so to speak, free, yeah, there are open source tools you can use, which are community open source applications. Yeah. But when you are, accessing a platform whereby you know that, you are getting some valuable information, and it is free, it is actually not free. You are paying, somehow if you are not careful. Maybe you are linking your let me say an email account to an external account to have an information, and you don't really know what you are doing. Your password will have easily been pawned. And somebody has actually affected that. You go on social media today, you have numerous click jacking. Once you click on them, now it takes you to another link, started asking you for information, you put those information there, your account is locked down. WhatsApp these days is becoming a major threat. That's why it is important for people to now enable two-factor authentication on their WhatsApp. When you click the right icon on your phone, you see the drop-down menu, go to your security, then ensure that you enable a code that requests you to, put in a particular code that enable you to, have a two-factor authentication. So it has moved from, people have to be very sensitive and ensure that they are safe on the internet.
Sensitivity.
Olatunji Balajobi, thank you so much for coming on the program. And Dr. Adebowale Owoseni, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.